Hi, this is Pat Rae from sellingfromstage.com.au, and today's video is titled Selling from Stage Without Selling, Tip Number 2. Now you'll remember last week we talked about how to build rapport and credibility with your audience by getting somebody else to introduce you to your audience. That way you didn't have to spend the first 5 or 10 minutes of your talk talking about yourself. So today's video we're going to talk about what you have to do after you've been introduced to the audience. Now it's very important that you make a great first impression with your audience, and you really only have 10 seconds to do that. It will happen within the first 10 steps that your audience sees you, and it usually relates to the very first words that you say the moment you stand up in front of your audience. So how do you make a great first impression? Because you see, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So you have to get it right from the first time. And the easiest way to make a great first impression is to really engage your audience. But how do you do that? How do you engage your audience right from the start? Well, it's actually quite easy. You simply give them exactly what they want. You see, they've got this thing going off in their head from the moment they sat down to the moment you walked out on stage. And they're asking themselves, what's in this for me? So we need to find out exactly what they want. But how do you do this? How do you find out what your audience wants to hear? Well, it's actually quite simple. You ask them what they want. How do you do that? Well, I use 3 or 4 questions to try and get the audience involved. And let me give you an example. There's a talk that I give quite a lot that lasts about 10 to 15 minutes, and I use this talk as a great list building tool, and I'm going to talk about building your list in a future video. But this particular talk that I give is titled, It's Okay to Look Fat When You Breathe. Now the title in itself is a little bit catchy and it grabs people's attention and usually generates a little bit of a chuckle every now and again. So after I've been introduced to the audience by somebody who's read my speaker bio to them, I open the PowerPoint presentations and this is the first slide they see. Now the very next slide they see has these 2 pictures, and I'll ask my audience 3 questions. And those 3 questions go something along the lines of this. How many of you in the audience have ever suffered from or are currently suffering from back pain? And I get them to raise their hands. Then I'll ask them another question, something along the lines of, who knows somebody who suffers from back pain? And usually a few more people will put their hand up. And then I'll ask the question one more time in a different way, who in the room never wants to suffer from back pain ever again? And usually by the 3rd or 4th question, you've got the entire room with their hand in the air. Well, now you know that your message will appeal to everybody in the room because they've all got their hands up relating to something that you're about to talk to. So here's the next step. Once you've got all their hands up, you then need to ask them another question, and this is the hook, line and sinker. So I asked them who would like to learn a simple technique to minimize back pain forever. And chances are the entire audience are going to put their hands up. So now we've got them interested because they now know what they are going to get from this talk. Now step number 2 in this process is to make a promise to them. And in this talk I say to them, I promise that I will give them a simple technique that costs nothing, that they can walk away with when they leave the talk, that will help them minimize back pain forever. So just to recap, first of all, ask them what they want. Second of all, tell them what it is you have to give them. And third of all, promise to give it to them by the end of the talk. So this has been my Selling from Stage Without Selling tip number 2. If you'd like to learn more tips on how you can improve your public speaking, then I'm holding a 1-day workshop which is titled Selling from Stage Without Selling on Saturday the 16th of June 2012. It's going to be running from 8:30 in the morning till 6 p.m. at night, and we're holding it in my studio at Springwood in Brisbane. If you want to know further about this workshop, simply head on over to the webpage www.sellingfromstage.com.au, or you can check us out on Facebook at Selling From Stage Without Selling. My name is Pat Rae. You have a great day. Till next time, bye for now.